Hey everyone, welcome back to another Diablo 3 video. In this video I'm going to discuss an easy and efficient Demon Hunter speed build, whether if it's Bounties, T16 riffs, or Greater riffs. Um, it's very easy to swap between, and generally there's nothing you really change for each build, and you can argue that you could even use the same build for each of these types of content within the game. The only thing is, like, it might be like slightly better to use one over the other. It's all preference, really. So I'm gonna go over different variations. So right here, this is the one I currently have on right now. This is the Demon Hunter God set, so Gears of the Dreadlands, with the Guardian set. So essentially what this does is it just makes you extremely powerful with the Guardian set buffing your primary attribute, which is dexterity for the Demon Hunter. So that's being stacked with the God set itself. So it makes it very powerful. So you have the 6-piece bonus with your Dawn, your Ballista for the shields. That way that gives you uptime on Scorch Necklace, which doubles your damage. From the time I've used this, for what I farm, it pretty much never drops. I always have double damage. Then Diggers gives your primary skills up to 100% additional damage. I got a decent roll on this. And then you have your 9th Series Satchel, which increases your damage. Wraps of Clarity, which reduces damage taken. And the Rorg, which essentially gives you that one extra piece that's missing with the set, which allows you to have these broken sets. And then I'm pairing it with Focus and Restraint. Since I am toggling between my primary and secondary abilities, it's pretty much constantly extra damage. As far as skills, the skills will stay the same no matter what build you use. As far as passives, I Blood Vengeance, Call of the Week, Ambush, and Awareness. I'm running Awareness because this is the hardcore character, so I'm afraid of dying. So if you're playing softcore and you're not really worried about dying, you could actually swap this out for Tactical Advantage. Gives you more movement speed. So you could always swap that out, or even just kind of go with what's really your preference. So here's the Guardian set. This is primarily what I use for the GR speed farming. And you can do, like, I do 90s and 100s within 3 minutes consistently. It's very easy. Then there's also the God Bounty build, which is very similar. The only difference is you swap out your bracers. So you're not using the Guardian set. You put the Wurzershian arm guards and then gold wrap. And then you're replacing your legendary gem with Boon of the Hoarder. So the variation of this one is for very fast bounties. It helps maintain your resources because of Pride's Fall. You're swapping out the item that was here for Pride's Fall. So it's pretty much makes sure that your resource doesn't run out, or if it does, it doesn't take as long at least. These pretty much make you go really fast, and the gold wrap is what gives you that survivability. So that's why you don't need to use drops of clarity, because this will keep you alive alone while it's paired with your Boon of the Hoarder gem that's in here. So ideally, this is really good for bounty content. It's really fast. It's still strong, and this also helps you with stockpiling gold. So as you see, I have no issues with gold down here. Then here's another variation. This is the first one I got before I got the pieces for the Guardian set. This is just a full-on God set. So you have the Wraps of Clarity and the Hunter's Wrath equipped, and Depth Diggers in the cube. So this is another variation. I would say this one is mainly for later on as you get higher Paragon. Or instead of Ring of Royal Grandeur, you use Convention of Elements to get that damage because you're wearing the full 6-piece already. And then, yeah, for all these armor slots, it's going to be the Resistance and cooldown in the Helm. Same thing with this and this. Like I said, all my skills, all my passives are all the same. The only thing that changes out is whether if I'm using the Guardian set, or in this case, yeah, a random item. This first God set I stopped using because once I got this Guardian one, it's so hard to not use this. So I'll do a little demonstration. So this will be the Guardian set that I'm going to be running with. And what's awesome about this, with it being lazy, depending on your keyboard, if you have any type of gaming keyboard that has a software, you can pretty much have macros, so you just have it button mash. If you don't, then a standard keyboard, you can just map it out to your numlock keys. So essentially, I'll always have all these going, whenever it's on cooldown, so I have it set to just mash it all the time. And all I'm doing the whole time I'm running these rifts and bounties is I'm just holding down my shift button so that way it's a forced move, so I can shoot my primary. I see I have my stacks gaining momentum. It drops, so I'm doing this. Then I spin around with strafe. That's my right click. So as I'm strafing, I'm holding down my left click, or sorry, my shift button, and I'll do a left click every couple seconds to maintain my stacks. So every time I open up the rift, I activate my keys, get my stacks, and I start rolling. Everything just kind of dies. So like no effort, you see everything is refreshing. And I do have Nemesis Bracers on my follower, so that's what is allowing those elites to spawn when I click on pylons. I forgot to go over that, but I'll go over all that after this rift. And even for the follower, like I don't have anything special on it either. I just slapped on some gear pieces. Like even the shield is like still the shield that it comes with at level 1. And the weapon I think is a random necromancer weapon I got, and I haven't swapped it out just because I didn't care to. I kept forgetting. See, I'm just rolling through. Rift Guardian already spawned. I'm dead. This is under 2 minutes. Upgrade gens. That's the funny thing too, is my gens aren't even that high either. I've been able to consistently do this for a while now. So the reason why I choose to speedrun these 90s is because that's like the gear cap. So once you hit Greater Rift 90, the amount of gear drops you have is capped. So if you go at 100, the gear you get isn't any different. The only purpose to even go higher for speedrunning is going to be your XP gain. So if you want to do that, yeah, that's fine. You could even do this at hundreds or even higher. Potentially even more on a non-hardcore character. But for this character specifically, I don't feel the need to even go that high. So now what I'm going to do, I'll show you. So this bounty, this also was the same for regular rifts too. I forgot to mention that. But see, the only thing that changed was my gem and some of my gear slots. So now I have the gold wrap and the arm guards. And I have the Pride's Fall buff, which you see down here. So I'm just going to do a normal rift. And as I go through, you'll see my gold accumulation right here. It's just going to keep on raising. It's pretty insane. So I use my skills, I'm pre-firing, I click, and I already have my stacks. See, I'm just rolling through, everything's dying. And you'll notice that there's a bunch of death breath on the floor. I'll cover that when I go over my follower after this rift and what I have on it. It's nothing too crazy, like I said, and a lot of it is craftable. Once you do a few bounty runs on a fresh character, it's very quick to gear. See all that gold I have already? Just rolling through, no problem. My resources are still pretty much full. Getting some bad maps, and I'm even going like the wrong way too, and no issues. So really fast. Next floor. Yeah, this build really shines in open maps. It's like that Guardian spawned already. You'll see I got 5 keystones. I'll cover that too. That's also part of my follower. There we go. That was a regular riff. So again, you can do the same thing for bounties. The same exact build. It's pretty quick. It's easy to slap on and it's very powerful. And then as far as my follower, so I have it split. So I have it for the rings. I have it wearing the Ring of Royal Grandeur. Then I also have the Oculus ring. This allows for that little ring that you see. It gives me up to 85%, but I got an 84% roll. But anyway, it's just more damage as long as I'm in that circle. But this allows me to have multiple sets mixed together. So the first set I have is Kane's Habit. So essentially the main reason I have this is for the very bottom. When a greater if keystone drops, there's a 25% chance for an extra one to drop. So that's why you see more than like 4. So this is nice, especially when it actually gives you a ton at once. It's RNG related, but hey, that extra 25% is better than nothing. Then the next set I have is Sage's Passage. The main thing for this is the 3 set bonus, which is double amount of death breath that drop. So that's why you see all those death breath on the floor, is this doubles that. And then also with this season with the altar, you have the altar which it also doubles. So I'm getting doubled twice. So I'm getting 4 times my normal amount of death breath. So it comes very handy when it comes to crafting and even making alternate characters. And I have Sages and Canes. Yeah, those are the 2 sets that I have. And for the Templar Relic, it's just the one that he doesn't die. So he just stays alive the whole time. Of course, you have to use the Flavor of Time. This makes all the pylons last 2 times longer, so that's helpful. The chest piece, I just threw this in here. You could pretty much use whatever. Shoulder piece, I use homing pads, so that way I could just go to town uninterrupted. And again, I mentioned I have a level 1 shield and a Necromancer spear. So just goes to show you, it doesn't need to be perfect. So the key takeaway is I use my Templar to spawn the elites with the Nemesis Bracers. The Flavor of Time lets it last 2 times longer. Anytime I kill elites, I get double death breath that drop. And then with Canes, when I'm done, there's a chance for extra keystones. And aside from that, this passive is pretty much a cheat death. So if instead of dying, I just come back to health. So that's the main reason. And no matter what I run, I just kept this as is. Like I don't put anything special in here. All my builds were, as I stated earlier. So you have this bounty, normal rift variation. And then this is the GR speedrunning. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I completely forgot to go over the skills that I have. I went over the passes, but not the actual skills. So left click I have Hungering Arrow, Devouring Arrow. Right click I have Strafe, Drifting Shadow. Then I have Smokescreen, Special Recipe, Vengeance, Dark Heart, Preparation, Focused Mind, and Companion, Wolf Companion. So those are all the skills and all the passives. So again, I kept this the same no matter what build I was running. But yeah, that's it. If you found any of this helpful, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.